So my husband gifted me this book several years ago when I first started on this path. And it comes from, it's called Zen Stories, The Staff and Shout of the Venerable Ones. And he thought I would enjoy reading our stories in a more illustrated format. So, I love this book. I go to this book often. Not one, because it makes me laugh, and two, because these are our stories. So the story is called The Spider and the Monk. And I just realized I did not bring my glasses with me, so I'm going to try and do this without them. There was once a monk who was bothered by a great big spider whenever he tried to meditate. Every time I meditate, this big spider appears, and no matter what I do, I just can't get rid of him. Next time you go to meditate, grab a brush, and if that spider shows up again, draw a circle right on its belly, and then you will see what kind of a monster it is. So the monk took his master's advice, and as soon as he had finished drawing the circle on the spider's belly, the spider disappeared, and the monk was able to continue meditating in peace. When he withdrew from his concentration, the first thing he saw was a big black circle right on his own belly. So I share that with you today because I have a sneaking suspicion everyone in here can relate to that story. So I have been meditating and sitting for nearly 9 years now. So not that long, but also that long. And for me, I've had many spiders visit me during Zazen. And my spiders have come in the forms of a pain in my back, a leg that's fallen asleep, the birds that seem to be chirping a little more loudly than they normally do. Memories I feel are best left in the past, worries about things that haven't even happened or may never happen at all. So when it comes to my Zazen practice, I have over the years wrestled with it. I may have pushed against it a few times. I've reveled in it, I've accepted it, and I look forward to it. This is my practice, the ups and downs of Zazen. Yet no matter what's happening, no matter how many spiders I encounter, I continue to return to my cushion again and again. Something inside me keeps pulling me back, or rather guides me to it. So this year, the Houston Zen Center is exploring the Shobogenzo, or the Treasury of the True Dharma Eye, which are writings of Zen Master Dogen Zenji. For those who may not be familiar, Dogen Zenji is a 13th century monk who brought Zen from China to Japan, which culminated into the Soto Zen school, which is our lineage and what we practice here at Houston Zen Center. And this week is chapter 11, Rules for Zazen, or Zazenji. In this chapter, Dogen basically lays out the rules for Zazen, or meditation. So I'm not going to read the entire chapter, but I would like to read some passages. The translation I used is from Moon in a Dewdrop by Kaz Tanahashi. And some of this may sound a little familiar from our chant from this morning. So, practicing Zen is Zazen. For Zazen, a quiet place is suitable. Lay out a thick mat. Do not let in drafts or smoke, rain or dew. Protect and maintain the place where you settle your body. The cushion should not be placed all the way under the legs, but only under the buttocks. In this way, the crossed legs rest on the mat and the backbone is supported with the round cushion. This is the method used by all Buddha ancestors for Zazen. Sit either in half lotus position or in full lotus position. Just easier said than done for some, myself included. Place the right hand on the left foot and the left hand on the right hand, lightly touching the ends of the thumbs together. Do not lean to the left or right. Do not bend forward or backward. Zazen is not thinking of good, not thinking of bad. It is not conscious endeavor. It is not introspection. Sit solidly in samadhi and think of not thinking. How do you think? Not thinking. Non-thinking. This is the art of Zazen. Zazen is not learning to do concentration. It is the Dharma gate of great ease and joy. It is undefiled practice enlightenment. One could easily come up with half a dozen Dharma talks in this chapter, likely more. And to be honest with you, I wrestled a little with how to approach this, what to focus on, what to say. It's all important. And like a very good Zen student, I studied the chapter, I read the commentary, I understood it, I didn't understand it, I sought out my teacher, and then it made sense again. But throughout all of this, one thought kept surfacing in my mind over and over again. Zazen is the Dharma gate of great ease and joy. So when I read a story like The Monk and the Spider, I can easily relate it to Zazen. I understand that. I've been there. But when I hear the words ease and joy, Zazen's not the first thing that comes to mind. What does come to mind is going for a hike in the mountains with my family, or enjoying a nice meal and laughing with good friends, or binge watching Netflix on the couch. The basic principles of what Dogen lays out in the rules for Zazen are fairly simple, but it doesn't necessarily mean they are easy. Sitting in silence while listening to the cacophony of our minds, taking notice of every sound around us, contending with physical discomfort, or all of it all at the same time can be challenging. Sometimes just getting to the cushion can be a challenge. So how does one find ease and joy in so much disturbance? When I first started meditating, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I attended a class, someone showed me how to sit, how to hold my hands, how to breathe, how to think about my thoughts without thinking about my thoughts. It seems simple enough, but my mind thrashed about and my body completely protested. I had turned to meditation to achieve a goal. So I grew up in a family where anger was the go-to feeling, aside from anything happy. I learned really early on that if I was frustrated, if I was scared, if I was confused, you turned into anger somehow. But then I had my daughter, and as she became a toddler, I thought, I don't want her to grow up this way. I don't like it, and it doesn't seem fair to place that on her. So I sought ways to stop it, which led me here to the Houston Zen Center. I started meditating, but nothing seemed to be changing. I wasn't changing. I thought I was doing everything wrong, and I worried if I would fail. In fact, I told myself I had failed. I set expectations, had certain goals I felt I needed to meet, and none of that was happening. I sought out help from my teacher, from other Sangha members, and they all told me basically the same thing. Accept these feelings, accept your anger, watch them. That was really hard for me to do. But I continued to sit, and at some point something shifted. It didn't transform overnight, and my anger didn't just magically go away, but something somewhere started to make sense. Could I call it ease? Looking back, I can say there was a definite loosening happening. As for joy, it might be a little bit of a stretch at that point, but I continued to seek out my cushion. So I think alleviation would be a better word for that time. Kosho Uchiyama says in his book, Opening the Hand of Thought, doing correct Zazen means taking the correct posture and entrusting everything to it. Entrusting everything to it. for me, there's a little relief and resistance in that statement. Relief in the sense that there's a certain permission or allowance or understanding to let go, and resistance because I have to let go. But that process of, or approach, or letting go is what Dogen lays out for us in this chapter. While it seems like just a set of rules for how to do Zazen, it's really a way in to the Dharma gate of great ease and joy. To intellectually understand Buddhism, we have to study. We have to read the sutras, the rules, listen to Dharma talks, study ourselves. But Zazen is the direct experience of true teaching. This posture, for instance, is not an arbitrary exercise. Zazen is a physical activity. It's the anchor to our practice. Straighten your body and sit erect, Dogen instructs. Don't lean left or right. Do not bend forward or backward. Your ears should be in line with your shoulders, your nose in line with your navel. Rest your tongue against the roof of your mouth and breathe through your nose. Lips and teeth should be closed. Eyes should be open, neither too wide nor too narrow. Having adjusted body and mind in this manner, take a breath and exhale fully. Suzuki Roshi says, to take the posture is the purpose of our practice. So whether you sit on a cushion, in a chair, on a bench, the purpose of the posture is to sit in the reality of the moment. The mind is going to wander off here and there, but the body in this position is here and now. When in proper alignment, there's a natural regulation happening with the body, the breath, and the mind. When the body feels supported and upright, the breath comes easily and falls into a natural rhythm, allowing our minds to do what our minds do. And when the mind begins to wander, we often feel it first in our body. For me, my thumbs collapse in first. That's my first indication. If I don't get that, then there's usually a lean. So some people may hunch, some people nod off. Others may get tense, and we may do all of that. But it's our body that says, hey, where'd you go? And then we get yet another opportunity to bring ourselves back to the present moment. All day, every day, our minds run constantly. We analyze, we plan, we daydream, we judge, we try not to judge, we fret. We try to be good Zen students by being mindful, observing our interactions, watching our emotions, and that's a lot of work. And it's all good practice, it's all beneficial. But sitting Zazen, taking this supporting posture and entrusting everything to it, is where it all comes together. It's where we get to let go. Dogen says, set aside all involvements and let the myriad things rest. Zazen is not thinking of good, not thinking of bad. It is not conscious endeavor. It is not introspection. Sit solidly in samadhi and think not thinking. How do you think not thinking? Non-thinking. This is the art of Zazen. So for those who may not be familiar, in the Soto Zen tradition, we also refer to Zazen as shikantaza, so just sitting meditation. There are other types of meditation that people practice. Some focus on an object like a candle. Some focus on specific meditation like loving kindness. But in Zazen, we allow our thoughts to come and go as they will. We don't try to block them or prevent them from arising. We allow them to flow with no preconceived notions, no expectations, no judgment, no attachments. There is no good Zazen or bad Zazen. We shine a light of awareness on whatever Zazen gives us and become fully present in our life just as it is. Not grasping the thoughts allows us to see it for what it really is. Just a thought, nothing more, nothing less. It just is, and then we let it go. Uchiyama speaks of thoughts this way. When we think of something. Thinking of something means grasping that something with thought. However, during Zazen, we open the hand of thought that is trying to grasp something and simply refrain from grasping. This is letting go of thoughts. And it's in that letting go that we wake up. We wake up to the boundless truth of reality. We wake up to our Buddha nature and the realization of our true selves, which is not separate from anything or anyone. We wake up to an awareness of unlimited wisdom, compassion, and kindness. What better ease and joy is that? Zazen for me now is where my day-to-day active life, my small monkey mind, comes to rest. Where I get to sort of pour out my mind and just allow it to be. The entire Zazen experience, walking towards my cushion, preparing to sit, sitting, thinking, not thinking, non-thinking. The entirety of Zazen is a Dharma gate of great ease and joy. Regardless of whether or not my mind and body are restless and fidgety, or calm and ready, Zazen is where I get to let go. Reflecting back on my beginning practice, I can confidently say there was a lot of fight happening there. But I can also say with certainty that what started out as loosening and alleviation has transformed into ease and joy. Did my anger go away? Absolutely not. I'm human. That is something that I will not rid myself of. But I now no longer worry of passing along that bad habit to my daughter. Do I always get it right? Absolutely not. Again, I am human. But I can now see it more clearly and I can meet it when it happens. I just lost my, sorry. I can see it, yes, but I can now see it more clearly and I can meet it when it presents itself, because this Dharma gate of great ease and joy doesn't get to live just on the cushion. We have the pleasure of taking it with us wherever we go. A fact I was reminded of not too long ago when I took my dog Iggy for a walk in our neighborhood. At the time, the city was upgrading the sewer system, or the main sewer lines, so there was this huge machinery and those big, huge pipes everywhere. And so on this particular morning, I happened to be walking on the street where they were working, but the construction was behind me, so I couldn't see what was going on. And as Iggy and I were walking, a piece of machinery must have hit something else, because it made a really loud noise that happened to be the exact same sound as the bell in the zendo. Without thought and without hesitation, my stomach muscles started to contract and I felt my body leaning forward. So I was preparing to do a nice bow as instructed by the bell. So I did take a moment to laugh at myself, but I was also utterly amazed at my reaction. There was no context that precipitated this reaction. There's no incense. No one from the center was there. I wasn't thinking of Buddhism or anything at the time. But as soon as my body recognized that sound, it reacted. And as silly as that moment was, it's also a wonderful reminder that practice is everywhere. It's in that pause right before anger arises, in the compassion towards someone we may not understand. In the loving kindness we show to ourselves. In the bell. Wherever it may ring. It's in our Zazen practice that allows us to meet it and open the Dharma gate of great ease and joy.